Do you want to win, or do you just like the idea of winning? That is the question most men avoid, because everybody wants the result. Everybody wants more money, more respect, more freedom, more confidence, more options. But not every man is willing to discipline the mind that must carry those results. Your life cannot rise higher than the thoughts you keep obeying. You can have talent, charisma, ambition, and big plans, but if your mind is chaotic, your life will eventually follow. The battle is not only at work, in business, in the market, or in your bank account. The battle starts in the private space between what you know you should do and what your weaker self keeps negotiating. That is where men win or lose before the world ever sees it. A man with an undisciplined mind can make money and still lose it. He can get opportunities and still waste them. He can have people believing in him and still sabotage himself. Why? Because his inner world has no order. His thoughts are reacting to every mood, every fear, every notification, every opinion, every setback. He wakes up already scattered, already behind, already letting the world decide what deserves his attention. That is not leadership. That is being controlled. If you want to build a serious life, your mind has to become headquarters, not a public waiting room where every distraction can walk in and sit down. You need command. Command over what you think about. Command over what you allow to influence you. Command over how quickly you return to the mission after life hits you. Discipline of mind is not about pretending everything is easy. It is about deciding that your standards will not be controlled by your feelings. Feelings change. The mission cannot. Your mood may say, stay down. Your future says, get up. Your fear may say, wait. Your responsibility says, move. Your comfort may say you deserve to coast. Your family, your goals, your name, and your future say you have work to do. Most men are not losing because opportunity never came. They are losing because opportunity found them mentally unprepared. No structure, no focus, no emotional control, no daily system. They wanted wealth, but they did not want order. They wanted respect, but they did not want consistency. They wanted leadership, but they could not lead their own attention. You cannot be trusted with more if you cannot govern what you already have. Start there. Start with the mind. What thoughts keep repeating? What excuses have become normal? What fears keep getting a vote? What stories do you tell yourself when things get hard? Be honest, because the thoughts you tolerate become the habits you defend, and the habits you defend become the life you complain about. A disciplined man does not let every thought become an instruction. He tests it. Does this thought make me stronger or weaker? Does this thought move me closer to the man I am becoming or pull me back into the man I am outgrowing? Does this thought create action or create delay? If it creates delay, it has to go. If it feeds weakness, it has to go. If it keeps you attached to the old version of yourself, it has to go. That is the cost of mental discipline. You do not get to entertain everything and still expect focus. You do not get to feed every fear and still expect confidence. You do not get to think like a victim and build like a leader. Your mind has to be trained like your body. Repetition, resistance, correction, pressure. If you trained your body one day a month, you would not expect strength. So why do you expect a strong mind while training it only when life falls apart? Every morning is training. Every decision is training. Every private promise you keep is training. Every time you choose the standard over the mood, you are training the man you are becoming. And one day people will call it confidence, but you will know the truth. It was built in the hidden hours. This is why you cannot treat your mind like a side issue. It is not extra. It is the control room. If the control room is messy, the whole operation suffers. Your relationships suffer. Your business suffers. Your finances suffer. Your body suffers. Your confidence suffers. So before you ask for more, ask if your mind is ready to manage more. The disciplined mind begins before the day gets loud, before the phone pulls you into everyone else's life, before the bills, the job, the traffic, the messages, the problems, and the pressure start demanding pieces of you. A serious man takes ownership early. He does not wait until the day is already controlling him. He sets the tone. He asks, what must be handled today? What cannot be delayed anymore? What action would make me respect myself tonight? That question matters, because self-respect is not built by intentions. It is built by evidence. You do not respect yourself because you talked about discipline. You respect yourself because you did what you said you would do when it was inconvenient. That is where a man becomes solid, not in the loud moments, in the quiet ones. When nobody is watching, when you could hide, when you could make an excuse, when you could say you are tired and still look normal to everybody else. But you would know That is the problem. You always know. You know when you gave half effort. You know when you avoided the number. You know when you spent money you should have protected. You know when you reacted emotionally instead of leading yourself. You know when you let comfort win. And every time you do that, you weaken trust with yourself. That is why confidence feels low for many men. It is not because they lack potential. It is because their own mind has watched them break too many promises. The solution is not hype. It is proof. Small proof repeated daily. Wake up when you said you would. Train when you said you would. Make the call when you said you would. Check the account when you said you would. Finish the work when you said you would. That is how the mind starts believing you again. A man with mental discipline does not negotiate with weakness all day. He makes decisions in advance. He decides what time he wakes up. He decides what gets his focus. He decides what he will not spend on. He decides what habits are no longer allowed. He decides which people no longer get unlimited access to his energy. He decides what the mission requires, then he moves. That is why discipline feels like freedom once you accept it. At first it feels restrictive because your weaker self is losing control. But later it becomes peace. You are no longer dragged around by every craving, every emotion, every distraction. You are no longer waking up wondering what version of you will show up today. You are building a version you can rely on. That is wealth before the money. Because what good is money in the hands of a man who cannot control himself? What good is opportunity in the hands of a man who cannot stay focused long enough to execute? What good is influence in the hands of a man whose emotions still run the show? Money follows order. Respect follows consistency. Leadership follows self-command. So stop asking only how to make more. Ask who you have to become to handle more. If your finances are messy, your thoughts are probably messy too. If your schedule has no structure, your priorities are probably unclear. If your body is neglected, your self-respect has probably been compromised. The outside is giving you feedback about the inside. Do not get offended by that. Use it. Let reality correct you. A serious man does not need life to flatter him. He needs life to tell him the truth so he can improve. Look at the numbers. Look at the habits. Look at the people around you. Look at your mornings. Look at how you respond under pressure. That is your report card. And if you do not like what it says, good. Now you have something to build from. The dangerous man is not the one who never fails. It is the one who can look at failure without lying to himself. He studies it. He extracts the lesson. He adjusts the plan. Then he gets back to work without needing applause. That man becomes hard to stop because he does not waste pain. He turns pressure into structure. He turns mistakes into standards. He turns frustration into focus. And over time, his life starts to reflect the order he built inside himself. A man who cannot face the truth about himself will keep losing to the same pattern with different names. Different pressure, same reaction. Different opportunity, same sabotage. Different season, same excuse. The work is to break that loop, not with emotion, but with structure. Not with one inspired day, but with repeated correction. Let's talk about money because too many men want wealth without mental order. They want more income, but they do not want to become more valuable. They want freedom, but they do not want financial discipline. They want options, but their attention is still controlled by impulse. That is backwards. Money does not fix a disorganized man. It exposes him. More money in the hands of weak habits becomes more expensive weakness. More opportunity in the hands of poor focus becomes more unfinished projects. More visibility in the hands of a fragile ego becomes more pressure than he can handle. That is why the mind has to be trained before the results arrive. If you cannot manage one paycheck, what makes you think you will magically manage 5? If you cannot protect 1 hour, what makes you think you will protect a business? If you cannot keep one promise to yourself, what makes you think people should trust you with bigger responsibility? That is not disrespect. That is the truth. A disciplined man understands that wealth starts with how he thinks, but it is proven by how he acts. He looks at money with maturity. He does not use it only to feel important. He gives it direction. He knows what is coming in. He knows what is going out. He knows what needs to be cut. He knows what skill needs to be built. He knows what debt needs to be attacked. He knows what habits are costing him more than he wants to admit. Most men do not have a money problem first. They have an avoidance problem. They refuse to look. They refuse to track. They refuse to plan. Then the pressure grows, and they call it bad luck. No, it is lack of leadership. If you want financial strength, lead your money. Give every dollar a job. Stop spending to impress people who are not coming to save you. Stop rewarding yourself for effort that has not produced yet. Stop acting like small leaks do not matter. A ship does not sink only from a massive hole. Sometimes it sinks because nobody respected the leaks. Your life is the same. The wasted subscriptions, the emotional spending, the unplanned food, the tools you bought but do not use, the courses you never finished, the nights out you could not afford, the time wasted that could have built skill. These are leaks, and if you are serious, you stop pretending they are harmless. But money is only one part of discipline. Your mind must also also be trained in how it handles pressure, because pressure will come. The job will test you, the business will test you, family will need you, your body will get tired, people will misunderstand you. Some days the work will feel heavier than the reward. That is when mental discipline matters. The weak mind asks, why me? The trained mind asks, what is required now? The weak mind looks for escape. The trained mind looks for the next correct action. The weak mind needs to feel good before it moves. The trained mind moves because the mission matters. You do not need to feel powerful to act powerful. You need to act according to the standard until your feelings catch up. This is how men are built. You do the responsible thing while it still feels uncomfortable. You choose the harder option while your old self is still complaining. You keep showing up while your emotions are trying to convince you that quitting would be easier. And every time you do that, you take power back. Power is not always loud. Sometimes power is silence. Silence when you could react. Focus when you could drift. Discipline when you could fold. Patience when results are delayed. Emotional control when people try to pull you out of character. That is real strength. Not the kind that needs to be announced. The kind that can be felt. A man with a trained mind walks differently because he is not at war with every feeling. He is not chasing every distraction. He is not proving himself to everyone. He is building. And when a man is building, a lot of things become easier to ignore. If you want money to respect you, become the kind of man who respects process. Build skill before lifestyle. Build discipline before status. Build savings before appearance. Build value before expecting reward. That is how a man becomes financially dangerous. He stops chasing the image and starts building the engine. Your environment matters because your mind is always being trained by something. Either you train it on purpose or the world trains it for you. The phone trains it. The algorithm trains it. Your circle trains it. The conversations you repeat train it. The complaints you entertain train it. The content you consume trains it. And if you are not careful, you will wake up one day thinking thoughts that were never even yours. You will be carrying fears you borrowed from weak people, limitations you learned from your environment, and distractions sold to you by people who profit from your lack of focus. A man serious about his future has to become ruthless with access, not emotional, ruthless. If something keeps weakening your discipline, it cannot keep getting your attention. If a conversation always leaves you smaller, it cannot remain normal. If a habit keeps stealing your mornings, your money, your clarity, or your peace, it has to be confronted. Your future is too expensive to keep funding your distractions. This is where many men fail. They want discipline, but they will not change what keeps breaking it. They want focus, but they keep living in environments designed to scatter them. They want growth, but they keep asking permission from people committed to staying the same. You cannot build a new identity while staying loyal to everything that feeds the old one. There will be a season where you have to pull back, not because you hate anybody, but because you finally respect the mission. You may need quieter mornings, fewer pointless conversations, less scrolling, less explaining, more reading, more training, more building, more time around people who force you to raise your standard. That is not isolation. That is construction. And construction sites are not comfortable. They are controlled. They are intentional. They are noisy for a reason, messy for a season, and focused on the finished structure. That is your life right now. You are under construction. Stop expecting it to look polished while the foundation is being repaired. Stop needing everyone to understand every decision you make. Most people did not see the damage, so they will not understand the rebuild. Let them talk. You build. The disciplined man reviews himself daily, not to beat himself down, but to sharpen himself. At night, ask the questions. Did I lead myself today? Did I protect my focus? Did I move toward the mission or did I drift? Did I handle what mattered or hide behind being busy? Did I react emotionally or respond like a man with standards? These questions are not soft. They are necessary because if you do not inspect your life, weakness will keep living there rent-free. Correction is not failure. Correction is maintenance. A man who refuses correction is choosing decay. Every day, tighten something. Tighten your schedule, tighten your money, tighten your training, tighten your speech, tighten your emotional control, tighten your circle, tighten your standards. You do not need to overhaul your whole life in one dramatic moment. You need to stop leaking power through the same old cracks. And understand this, discipline is not about becoming robotic. It is about becoming reliable. Your family needs reliability. Your business needs reliability. Your future needs reliability. Your own mind needs to know that when you say something, it means something. That is leadership. Leadership is not only standing in front of people, it is standing over your own weaknesses and refusing to let them run your life. It is doing what the mission requires before the mood agrees. It is making decisions that protect the future, even when the present wants comfort. It is choosing responsibility when nobody would blame you for choosing escape. That is how you become the man your future can trust. Not by claiming it, by proving it. Day after day, you prove it until discipline is no longer something you are trying to do. It becomes part of who you are. And when discipline becomes identity, life changes. The same pressure that used to break you starts sharpening you. The same setbacks that used to stop you start teaching you. The same responsibilities that used to feel heavy become the reason you stand taller. And do not underestimate the power of one clean day. One clean day creates momentum. One focused morning changes the tone. One honest review exposes the leak. One disciplined decision reminds you that you are not powerless. Stack enough clean days and your life starts to feel different because you are no longer betraying yourself in small ways. At some point, you have to decide what kind of man you are going to be when life is not easy, not when everything is perfect, not when the money is flowing, not when people are cheering, not when your energy is high and the plan feels exciting. Who are you when you are tired? Who are you when the results are delayed? Who are you when the bill is due, the job is stressful, the business is uncertain, and your confidence is being tested? That is the real version. That is the man your future is watching. And if you want that future to trust you, you have to become consistent in the moments where inconsistency would be understandable. Anybody can look disciplined when life is calm. The question is, can you stay disciplined when pressure starts talking? Can you stay focused when your old habits start calling? Can you stay calm when people misunderstand you? Can you keep moving when nobody sees the sacrifice? That is where the separation happens. Most men want success to arrive before they become disciplined, but discipline is the door. You do not wait for the better life to become serious. You become serious, and that seriousness builds the better life. There is no shortcut around that. You can buy courses, you can listen to speeches, you can write goals, you can tell everybody what you plan to do. But if your mind is not trained, if your habits are not aligned, if your standards are not protected, it will all fall back into the same pattern. The old mind will sabotage the new plan. So stop trying to add success on top of chaos. Build order first. Build focus first. Build self-trust first. Become the kind of man who can carry what he is asking for. That means your word has to matter. Your mornings have to matter. Your money has to matter. Your health has to matter. Your emotional control has to matter. Your work has to matter. Your mission has to matter. Not only when it is convenient, especially when it is inconvenient. That is where your future is built. In the private decisions, in the small corrections, in the habits nobody posts about, in the work nobody applauds, in the discipline nobody can see yet. And one day people will see the results and call it luck. Let them. They did not see the mornings. They did not see the pressure. They did not see the silent battles. They did not see you choosing structure when comfort was available. They did not see you rebuild your confidence one kept promise at a time. But you will know that the man they see publicly was built privately. And that is the point. You are not here to perform discipline. You are here to become disciplined. You are not here to look focused. You are here to live focused. You are not here to talk about leadership. You are here to lead yourself so clearly that your life becomes evidence. So today, do not just feel motivated. Move. Decide what thought no longer belongs. Decide what habit has cost enough. Decide what relationship drains your focus. Decide what financial leak must be closed. Decide what action you have delayed too long. Then handle it. Not next week. Not when things settle down. Now. Because delay is expensive. Excuses are expensive. Distraction is expensive. The longer you tolerate them, the more of your future they consume. Discipline your mind. Protect your focus. Build your body. Order your money. Keep your word. Lead yourself first. When the man is in order, the life starts to follow. The money gets cleaner. The work gets sharper. The reputation gets stronger. The pressure gets easier to carry. The future starts opening because you are finally becoming the kind of man who can handle it. That is the power of a trained mind. That is the power of personal command. That is how a man rebuilds himself from the inside out. This is not about becoming perfect. Perfect is another excuse men use to delay. This is about becoming dependable. A dependable man can be tired and still act. He can be pressured and still think. He can be tempted and still choose the mission. That man becomes valuable everywhere he goes. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe for more wisdom, discipline, leadership, and motivation to help you rebuild yourself into the man you were meant to become.